Hello everyone and welcome again to this SQL course. Okay, we've learned how we can create and insert data into tables. We've also learned what are the common pitfalls that we may face when inserting new data into a table. In this case, pitfalls related to the data types that we've defined on that table. Here in this lecture, we are just going to investigate how we can delete data from a specific table, because that's also a super common operation. Also, we are going to understand how we can delete a table altogether, wiping it out from the system with a simple command. This will be a more destructive lesson, so to say, because here we are going to learn how to remove data from tables or also remove tables from databases. Let's start, and here I'm going to start with deleting data from tables. So we can start by wiping out the entire table and retaining the structure of the table alive with a simple command that I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to run it. So if I type delete from countries, and I'm going to use countries.codes because I'm going to delete all the codes that we'll have in this codes table that we've created. Let's just confirm what we have right now. So select all from countries.codes and let's check. So we have a code PRT and a 1.1 that was used to exemplify the implicit conversion. So if I run delete from countries.codes, probably we are going to have an error because of a property that we need to set here on MySQL, which is this SQL safe updates. This is just something that is set by default when we open MySQL. You can also change it here in the properties. I'll leave a link in the resources, but we can run this command so that we are able to basically use these more destructive commands, so to say, because doing a delete from is a really high risk command, because if you are doing this in a production setting, it will of course have many troubles as you will delete all the data from that table. Even so, let me now run again delete from countries.codes, and as you can see, 2 rows were affected. That means that right now we have no data at all in these countries.codes. So I ran this delete from and I enter the name of the table. In this case, I'll wipe out the entire table, but notice the table is still available, or at least the structure of the table is still available here in MySQL, because I still have the structure alive, if you can say it in this way. What I don't have is any data inside this table because I've done the delete from countries.codes. Again, remember that I had to set this property. Also, this is how we set some properties here on MySQL. In this case, I'm setting this SQL safe updates to 0 so that I can use these more destructive commands. This is just a safety measure by default in MySQL so that you can apply this delete from without being conscious that you are applying a delete from, again, because this is a really dangerous command. So this is how we can delete. We also learn a new SQL instruction here, which is the delete from. Now, a cool thing is that we can also delete something by a condition. Let's now pick up the countries.countries. Let's go to the countries.countries. And here, as you might have noticed, we have Portugal, France, Canada, Spain. So these are columns that we've been using. I don't have here in this version the foundation date, but no worries because we don't need it. But now what I want to do is, what if I only want to delete a specific country from this table? For example, I want to delete Portugal from this table. How can I do that? Well, I just have to use delete from, and here countries.countries. Notice that the syntax is similar as when we want to wipe out the entire data, and I add, just like we've done in filtering, a where clause. In this case, I'm going to do delete from countries.countries where, and I need my condition. In this case, country name is equal to Portugal. This will wipe out only the rows that match this condition. In this case, this row right here. Let's confirm. If I run this one, only one row was affected. Why? Because it's the only row that matched the condition. In this case, the row where the country name is equal to Portugal. If I go to my select all countries.countries, I should only have around 3 countries here. Of course, France, Spain, and Canada. Portugal is no more in this table. So this is the common usage of delete from, and here I've showed you 2 ways to delete data. One is to delete the entire data from a specific table, the other is to delete based on a condition. Okay, so now the most destructive command of all, the delete from is destructive, but at least it retains the table structure. Now this command that I'm going to show you does not retain the structure, completely wipes out the data and the structure of the table. It no longer exists in our system. and that command is called drop table. Okay, so if I use drop table on countries.codes, imagining that this would have data, the data would also go away. But the more important part is when I use drop table, and drop is a really common verb to use here in SQL. It means delete. When someone says I'm going to drop a table, it means I'm going to delete the table, I'm going to drop a column, I'm going to delete the column. What I'm going to do by running this one is removing the codes altogether from our SQL environment. Notice it's as if this table never existed in the first place. So we just completely wiped it out here from our database. So bottom line, be really mindful when you are using these instructions because they are utterly destructive, as you have seen. And if we do this on the wrong tables, probably this is going to cause a lot of trouble. Okay, so that's it for this lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to learn how to change tables because we probably only don't want to insert things or remove things. We are probably going to want to change our tables, the data, and also the structure of our tables live. We just want to make changes to tables that are already created. That's what we are going to see in the next lecture. I'll see you there.